So this morning, we're going to take a look at winter travel. For those of you who like to take off to the warmer weather, I mean, who doesn't really, once it starts to cool off here in this country, are there deals to be had? Is air travel getting any better? What's going on with COVID restrictions? For all the answers and more, we've got some great tips, getting you the best deal. Joining us now with more is travel journalist Lauren Christie, who's here on the couch. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
It is so good to see you. Okay, this is important information. People are thinking ahead to the cold months. They want to get away. And for people looking to get away this winter, what should they keep in mind when booking their trip?
Well, the good news is that most destinations are back on the table. So, typical Canadian hotspots like DR, Cuba, Mexico, but also other places that are really great like Antigua and Anguilla and St. Martin, the airlift is back. So you're seeing more availability than we have in previous years with all the capacity issues. So that's really good. So the winter routes are back. But the other thing people need to keep in mind is that vacations aren't getting any cheaper. Like everything else, the cost is going up. But what's fascinating is that the demand is still there. So it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy to book your vacation. So the number one message is if you want a certain hotel or a certain location, book early.
Book early, like book now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about different types of stay. So you've got the hotels, which we'll get to in a moment. But the idea, this trend you're seeing right now is the idea of vacation homes. And that's not to be confused with Airbnb homes. So what's the difference?
Well, the difference is these are actually purpose-built communities. So full suburban neighborhoods, sometimes in gated communities that offer, in Kissimmee, Florida, which is a great example, they have 60,000 rentable units of these homes. And they're fully functioning homes with kitchens and barbecues. Some have pools. They sit on golf courses. And the idea is that these are communities that you can go to. But the real reason why they're so great is they provide a good value. So for a 3 or 4 bedroom home, you're looking at something, you can get some deals around $500 a night. So if you're talking a whole family for a week, and Kissimmee, as an example, sits on the doorstep to all these great parks down there between Disney and Universal and SeaWorld. So it's an interesting trend to keep an eye on. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, if you'd rather do a hotel versus a vacation home, the good news I understand is a lot of these hotels took the time during the pandemic to do a little facelift.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great time if they could afford it to do it. And, some Canadian favorites, the Jolly Beach in Antigua, which is a fabulous hotel if you haven't been there, but it's wonderful. And they did some renovations and they're opening on December 15th. So I know that Canadians are excited about that. But there's also bigger news happening too. Like Marriott, one of the biggest hotel companies in the world, is getting into the all-inclusive market and is opening up 2 new luxury all-inclusives in Cancun alone this year. So there's a lot of stuff happening in hotels.
Okay, I want to ask you about COVID. It's still out there, obviously. We talk about it a lot on the show. In terms of travel, though, what should we keep in mind for places like, let's say, Florida, Mexico, the Caribbean? Are there any restrictions still in place that we need to know?
The restrictions are mostly lifted. There's the odd one out there, like Bahamas, for example. If you're not vaccinated, you still need to do a rapid antigen test 72 hours in advance. But it's more about the considerations. So some of the considerations are, you'll look at different hotels or destinations that are promoting their sanitization, but also places like the Palm Beaches in Southeast Florida is a whole community that's really promoting outdoor events, the more outdoor dining options they have. So if you're a little worried about COVID, that's still something. And then the last consideration that I would just point out for sure is that, like Canada and everywhere else, there is a labor shortage. So don't expect the service levels that you once had. It's a real thing.
It is a real thing. Okay, a real thing also is how much everything costs these days. So you've got some great tips in terms of saving money, when to book. So what do you have for us?
Yeah, so I think we have a board we can pull up here too. This came from Expedia, their recent travel hacks report that came out 2 weeks ago. If you book on a Sunday, you will save probably about 15% on your domestic ticket.
Really?
So when you book your ticket, book on a Sunday, but when you depart also matters when it's the flip. So book your departure day domestically on a Friday, and typically you will save 20% on your fare. That switches for international. Depart on a Thursday for international to get the best bang for your buck. So a lot of that, and it could be because of business travel or whatnot, who knows why, but those are the stats they're showing. And then in terms of when you book, I love this one. So it's always too early, too late. Book 2 months before domestic, 71 days, and you will save 40%. And for international, it's 3 months.
Really, those are great, great tips. Lauren Christie, always good to see you. Thanks so much. Happy traveling.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.